morning. I'm so glad that we have reinstituted the fire ceremony. And for those of you who haven't been with us for the 9 o'clock service, we now do that ancient fire ceremony before we do the purification. And it's a wonderful time to get within yourself and recognize the two most important things that it takes for us to be able to perceive that light. One is the offering of your love to God, the offering of that devotion into the flame so that it grows stronger and stronger. That's our only job. Well, there's a second job. Then we have the seeds of rice that we toss into the fire, and that represents all the ways in which we are tested so that we might become shining lights, which is what we really are. So as you realize, we aren't talking about the electromagnetic light this morning. We're talking about a much deeper reality that operates behind the physical world. In fact, from the reading, if you go a little bit further in the autobiography, so that story this morning that Robin read to us, it's augmented if you turn the page to page number 10, and it describes another wonderful experience with that supernal light that Yogananda had in his youth, and I'm going to read this to you. I was blessed about the age of 8 with a wonderful healing through the photograph of Lahiri Mahashaya. This experience gave intensification to my, I'm reading the reading. I want to read the next story, sorry. Shortly after my healing through the potency of the Guru's picture, I had an influential spiritual vision. Sitting on my bed one morning, I fell into a deep reverie. What is behind the darkness of closed eyes? This probing thought came powerfully into my mind. An intense flash of light at once manifested to my inward gaze. Divine shapes of saints sitting in meditation posture in mountain caves formed like miniature cinema pictures on the large screen of radiance within my forehead. Who are you? I spoke aloud. We are the Himalayan yogis. The celestial response is difficult to describe. My heart was thrilled. I longed to go to the Himalayas and become like you. The vision vanished, but the silvery beams expanded in ever-widening circles to infinity. What is this wondrous glow? I am Ishwara. I am light. The voice was as murmuring clouds. Master says, I want to be one with thee. Out of the slow dwindling of my divine ecstasy, I salvaged a permanent legacy of inspiration to seek God. He is eternal, ever new joy. This memory persisted long after the day of rapture. So Master had that direct experience very early on in his life. He knew the reality of our situation here on earth. He knew that that reality of light was what we all were. In fact, at a gathering when he was traveling in America, he said to the audience, I see you all as flames of light. Just imagine, that is our essence. Our essence is that shining light And how do we make sense of being here? And some mornings you get up and you can't see how you could possibly be the light. And what is shadowing that? Well, we came from the light. That's our origin. All the scriptures speak of that. We came from the light, and what we're doing here is taking into account all the ways in which we thought this great playground of earth was the thing. And we got involved in all the ways in which the earth is attractive to us. Now, one of the great gifts of God is nature. And nature is full of hints of light. Nature tells us so much about who we are. This is a great blessing. And then we come in and we put up houses and we put up buildings and we put up highways and we get so involved in the playground that we're making for ourselves. But if we want to be truly happy, if we want to feel that great love and see and feel that great light, we must turn and make the choice to find the ways that happiness will come to us truly. It's not in the playground, although there are many lovely things, but those lovely things are a reminder of where we're going, a reminder of what we're here for. So here's the deal. God made us, and he thought, aha, this is going to be interesting. I will have this game in front of me. And humans were created, and they sat in meditation, and they went right back into the light. No game for God. No entertainment. And so he realized he needed to sort of hide our essence from us. And so that's what he did. And Yogananda says, we have come as an individual soul, we have come through all the experiences that are possible on this plane. And Yogananda remembered himself as a diamond. Imagine. And we come through the animal kingdom. We come through all the ways in which we can evolve. And every incarnation brings us an experience. And every experience asks of us that we look to the highest that we can do in relation to what has happened. And so many things happen to us. We have karma, which is just the way of saying something that we need to overcome to see the light more clearly. We have karma that seems so difficult, so hard, and yet what it's there for is not to be cruel. What it's there for is to open us, to give us a little insight into the fact that this world isn't the perfect, satisfactory place, but that the world of the inner light is where we will be the happiest. And what's involved there is that we understand that light within, we share that light within, we make friends, and we find the light within our friends, and in that lies the happiness which will never disappear. Let's see where I want to go with this. So our faults are, as Swami Kriyananda says, are self-definitions. These are not the purest form of who we are. And the way to overcome them is to offer your love to God and say, help me out. What's going on here? What's my next step? What do I need to do? I have to admit that I have developed an addiction to the program that's called Monty Don is gardening. It's Gardening with Monty Don. Any of you know that program? No? I'm going to introduce it to you. This is Great Britain's most popular gardener. And he has a show that comes out of England, and it's, you can find it on YouTube. What this man does, among many things, he's grown an enormous garden at his home, but he decided that he wanted to bring the joy of gardening to others, sharing the light. And so, however they choose them, this program chooses all kinds of people from all walks of life to have Monty Don come to their little miserable backyard and ask them what they would like to have in their first ever garden. And it is the sweetest thing because this show, as different from other gardening shows that you might watch to learn yourself, this show has the people do all the work. He does not come and put your garden in for you. He comes and said, what would you like? It's amazing the variety of things people would like to create. An Asian garden, a fantasy garden, a garden that reflected their trip to Norway. So they want to put in this Norwegian garden in their tiny little yard. He doesn't stop at anything. He lets people show him their dreams, and the only thing he corrects is this is possible and this isn't possible. So he has to, but they make the plans, they follow his lead or not, and he comes back 4 times a year to see the progress. And what is even more deeply satisfying, and this is going somewhere, I promise you. What is even more deeply satisfying is what he cares about more than anything is not the end result of the garden, although it's been pretty wonderful to see how creative people can be. What he's interested in is how it transforms the people themselves. So you're a whole year seeing, usually the show has 2 gardens going at once, so you're a whole year seeing Monty Don come back and see the progress, give them help, give them more advice. And these people create this wonderful, wonderful garden, which brings them in touch with their own creativity, which brings them in touch with their own light. So here is a man who is doing what we are doing, which is sharing the light within. He has found in his life the great joy of gardening, of feeding his family, of feeding others, of enjoying the joy of flowers of all kinds. And he is then sharing that with others. He's not just being the great, English gardener. And I've bought one of his books. It's this big and just about this thick. The Complete Monty Don, because I'm trying to learn how to garden. And my friends are helping me this year to put in a garden. So this is our task. In order to get in touch with our light, we need to do things that uplift. Do things that uplift us and can uplift others. And because Master Yogananda has said that light that young Yogananda saw in the room at that time is the light within us. That is who we are. And finding ways to remember that each morning. It's a wonderful thing. I've had experience a couple of times where I woke up laughing. I loved it. It was so great. I don't know whether it connected to a dream or not, but wake up laughing. And then I won't say better, another lovely experience is to wake up singing a chant. And I'm sure a lot of you have done that. And And that's what we're doing here. We're uncovering the light and then sharing it with others. Well, I knew there was a page 4. Jyotish Spiritual Renewal Week, which is a wonderful program that happens every year at Ananda Village in California. Spiritual Renewal Week happened this past week. In fact, today is the final day. So many people are there. And in his final suggestion, Jyotish, in his lecture on Monday, suggested to us to answer the question of what do we do in the world as it is now? What do we do when there's so much confusion? What do we do when there's so much darkness? And he suggested that we consciously do something every day which serves the light. So I want you to take that and think of that. It can be just getting in touch with someone you haven't talked with in a long time. It can be visiting people that you've been thinking about. You've been saying, we ought to go visit. We ought to go visit. And then life catches up and we haven't made that visit. Do those things. And that is what we do. And there are many other things you might do. But as devotees of Master, this is why we're here. We're here no matter what the circumstances. We're here to share the light. Thank you. So,
all right, Sean.
Hold it, Sean.
Sean, this will whispers first.
I'm going to need your arm.
Jamuna's asked us to read from a prayer from Whispers from Eternity. Make us transparent, that thy light may shine through us unimpeded. The beams of thy love shine equally on all members of thy cosmic family, whether prophet, hero, villain, tiny moth, or me. It is our own fault if we make ourselves opaque by our own mental and emotional dullness. Teach us to wipe away the air of dirt from the windows of our understanding. Our arms are weak for the task, owing to our long inner spiritual resistance. O Master Cleanser, lend power to our efforts that we may wipe away every spot that clings to our minds, obscuring our transparency and preventing free entry to thy light. Oh, make us fully clean again, invisible in our egos, because transmitting only visions of thy beauty which lies within us.